Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iPhone TV in association with MTK Global. Are you laying in bed?
Yeah, it's in bed, yeah. I said last night for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I said I wouldn't, but I did, and I'm paying for it now.
Fair enough, fair enough. First of all, I saw snippets of your Soccer AM debut. Looks a good laugh. I know you were talking about serious stuff, but
Yeah, I know it was great. Jimmy Bull had a great character. All the Soccer M lot were fucking fantastic. You know, had a great time. It was a childhood dream ticked off. It was amazing.
So you've done like Babe Station, you've done IFL, and now you've done Soccer AM. So you pretty much fucking completed it.
Ticked it all off the list, and I'm like I was a world title away from just completing everything there was to be completed in life. Yeah. 3 out of 4 is not bad.
Dave, reaction to last night, Daniel Dubois' defeat to Joyce. What was your take on the whole situation?
You know what? I thought it was a brilliant fight, to be honest. You know, the big fights always are. And Joyce Dubois, for me, you know, Joshua White 2015 was box office, wasn't it? It was massive. And Joyce and Dubois, they've not quite got the same, you know, the character and the star power that Anthony and Dillian have got. But as fighters, Joyce and Dubois, much better fighters as things are right now than Joshua and White were in 2015, in my opinion. I was so excited for last night. I thought, you know what? I was really excited about it. I've been excited about it for a long time. I thought it was a fantastic fight. And I didn't think it disappointed, you know. Done lots of rounds with Joe. Did a few with Daniel. And I thought I knew how the fight would play out. And I half got it right and I half got it wrong, to be honest.
What half did you get right? Which half did you get wrong?
The bit that I got wrong, I thought Daniel would win the battle of the jabs. I thought he would hit the body. And in the end, I sided with Daniel winning. I thought Daniel would win. I thought he'd win the battle of the jabs, which I thought was the key, was key to the fight. And I thought he'd hit Joe in the body. And Joe's probably one of the toughest men in the world, but he's got ribs like poppadoms. You know what I mean? So that was he didn't attack the body. I just thought where he went wrong personally, but it was a brilliant fight. I really, really enjoyed it actually. You know, and I really feel for Daniel Dubois, but Joyce, lovely fella, really happy for him.
Well, the jab was the key to victory, but just not for Daniel, obviously, for Joe, whose jab. I mean, if anyone wanted like a masterclass in how to kind of perfect that jab in a fight, that was it from Joyce last night.
I've been saying for years, you know, Joe's very. People say to me, Joyce. People say to me all the time, Joe's not very good. You should beat Joe. Why didn't you fight Joyce? It's like I'm not a fucking idiot, you know. But I used to, when I was up at the GB sparring Joshua and Fraser Clark and Joe, I used to watch Joe and I used to think he's terrible. Before I sparred him the first time, I thought he's terrible. I thought, why is he even here? Sparring him, and I was like, right, that's why. And it makes me laugh. People always say to me, oh, Joyce, he's a slow starter. How can he be a slow starter? He's got Olympic silver medal over 3 rounds. How can he be a slow starter? You know, he's a world got medals at every major amateur tournament, but he's a slow starter. Well, how can he be fighting 3 rounds? But he probably beat Tony Oak in the Olympic final. He's probably the best amateur in the world at one point, fighting over 3 rounds, but he's a slow starter, which never made sense to me. But yeah, he won the battle of the jabs. The jab's fantastic. He's got a really good jab. He doesn't turn the wrist over. He don't even punch with the knuckle with it. With 10-ounce gloves on 18.5 stone solid muscle, as we saw last night, but the mess of Daniel's eye.
Daniel Dubois this morning or this afternoon has obviously had a lot of criticism for how the fight ended. I know you've made some comments on Boxing Social regarding that. What was your take on that, about him taking a knee in that 10th round?
Well, you know what I was doing? I was eating some Chinese food, actually. And it was the 10th round, and I just turned away from the TV to get a piece of chicken. So I've looked away, I've looked up, and Neil Dubois on one knee, and I thought, what's happened there? So I thought, what's going on? Anyway, I thought Joe must have caught him. Then eventually, I obviously saw what happened, and I really felt for him. You know, for a 23-year-old, you know, he's been built up to be the next big thing, and I really sympathise with him, because what must have been going through his head to drop to a knee like that and be counted out. What must have been going through his mind in that a couple of seconds before, in that 10 seconds. You know, the winner of that fight is an overnight millionaire. You know, world title shot upcoming. So for him to go drop down to one knee, I think he's incredibly brave and tough. You know, 10 very hard rounds he did. So I don't knock his toughness and his bravery. He did quit, but I believed he quit because he'd reached his limit. Joey took him to his limit, and Daniel couldn't go on any further.
I've had this conversation with several people today, and it is easy, isn't it, for us to sit on the couch and kind of watch it unfold.
Yeah.
We're not, as not a fighter, that's what I mean. Not fighters were watching that thinking whether they would have been in that situation or not, what they have done, or they may have been in that situation. But it's difficult to kind of just sit here and go, yeah, he quit. Yeah. We saw what happened. It was kind of evident what happened. He took a knee and didn't get up for the count. So, but do you think the criticism this morning is justified?
Well, it's like I think, like I said, I think he reached his limit. I really sympathise with him. You know, he reached his limit and he couldn't carry on. You know, like I said earlier, some people have got limits. Are like some people have got the limits are further on than others. You know, he gave his all, in my opinion. You know, he's 23 years old, and he's a kid. You know, he's a kid. He was put in there with a man who just Joe broke his heart. You know, he broke his heart. The eye damage was bad. I think something will come out about that. We'll find out more what happened. But
I think it was a fractured orbital and nerve damage. That's what the reports are in the last couple of hours.
Well, that started nearly on in the fight, you know. And I said, I gave Joshua. I didn't give him some stick. I just said I thought Joshua quit in the Ruiz fight, and he did. The same way that I quit in the Price fight. You know, the same way numerous other fighters over the years have quit in certain fights. But he did 10 rounds. He took his lumps, you know. He proved his toughness. And the hard bit for him starts now. There'll be a lot of demons in there now. He's got to go back in. He's only 23, you know. He's only 23 years old. He's got to go back. He's got to go back in the ring and face them demons. And after the Price fight, you know, me pulling myself out in the corner and that. I had one fight after, but it finished me, to be honest, pulling myself out in the corner for me, as for who I am. It finished me. My confidence was gone in myself. You know, I thought if I pulled out in the corner and quit, which is what I did, I knew I was gone as a fighter. I wasn't a fighter no more. I don't not quitting. I think you know, when you reach the limit, you have to do it. But I know for a fact when I quit against Price, it was more or less career over from that point.
The Joyce now is in an interesting situation because he's just beaten Dubois. He's got this situation with Alexander Usyk. Whether that materialises at some point next year or not is yet to be seen. But Joe's been pushed from his debut where he fought Ian Lewison. Yeah. And so his level of opponents have been quite steady. They've been either former world champions or kind of fringe world level fighters. He's had that experience. But now, what do you do with Joe Joyce? Like, where's you step Joe? If he's not going to fight Usyk, where do you step him up to now after beating Daniel Dubois?
Well, I think a big difference in last night is the road that they took towards the fight. You know, you can't go from Fujimoto and a cruiserweight to Joe Joyce. You know, and Joe boxed Lewis in his debut, Leonard Thomas in his first fight. He boxed Bryant Jennings. You know,
the Hearn.
Yeah, he was battle hardened as a pro, as well as the amateur experience. I think that was the big difference. I think Daniel at 23, 23 at heavyweight is very young. So I think Daniel's 3 or 4 years away from where he should have been last night, because he passed the eye test. Everyone was like, he's ready for this and ready for that. And, I like I said, I thought he would win last night, but, proof is in the pudding, and he wasn't ready. And I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a really long rebuilding process for Daniel, to be honest. Yeah. But for Joe's 34 years of age, I don't personally think he beats a Usyk, a Joshua, or a Fury. And the thing with Joe's a great fighter. I think he's great. He's a top 10 heavyweight now for sure. But he's never going to beat a Fury, Joshua, or a Usyk, in my opinion. But at 34, I really sincerely hope he gets the biggest fight possible for the most money, and you know what? He'll give it 100% of his ability for sure. So I just hope he gets the biggest fight possible.
We shall see what happens. Are you still retired?
Yeah, this week, yeah. Yeah, I did. You know what? I did text Ed. I said, "What's going on with Babic?" I said, "Pay for me, I'll start boxing." And I texted Ed.
Quite serious, were you?
Not really. Well, hey, you know what I'm like. Anyway, I texted him the next day. I went, "You know what, Ed? I said, I'm really sorry, mate. I watched the boxing last night. I was getting loads of messages saying, Dave, come back. Come on, please. Babic's fine." I got a bit carried away, and and I thought, I've seen the bungalow. I said, I'm really sorry, Ed. I said, I've just, you know what I'm like. So, still retired, yeah. I'm just doing loads of things at the minute. I'm really excited for the future,
Well, I'm going to put out a bold statement here by saying you will return in the ring next year.
Well, a lot of people think I'll be back next year, but I think I've grown so much from the last 18 months. I've really matured, and I genuinely don't think I will box again. Genuinely say that,
Well, the reasons you give now, you shouldn't box. Yeah. But in 12, I was talking to Hearn about it the other day. In 12 months' time, depending where you are in your life, in your head, not as much physically, because you can get yourself in shape, we've seen that. Yeah. But in your head, if you're in a different kind of space in your head, is that a term? A different, what's the word?
Mind space.
Mind space.
Yeah, head space. Yeah.
I don't know, but right now you're doing the right thing. You shouldn't be fighting now because...
In my opinion, I think I'll be back. There's only 2 reasons why I'd come back. 1, I would be skin. And 2 would be there's a show on at the Doncaster Chemo, and I can do a 4-rounder just before the main event. Either of them 2 things I come back for, and that is it.
Okay. Should we do an exhibition?
Can do one. Terry Harper can main event the Chemo. That'd be fantastic. We need to do a 4-rounder just before. Be an amazing night. They're the things to come back for. Terry Harper keeps winning. Headlines the Chemo. If he gets me the right opponent, I'd love to have a foul at the Chemo in 12, 18 months' time. I'll probably be 25-7 at the time, but that's probably the only reason I'd come back.
Well, listen, all jokes aside, listen, if you're happy and everything, it's kind of...
I'm not joking. That is the plan in my head. That's where I've come back.
Well, I'm not saying you are joking, but I'm just saying right now, you're away from boxing, so just do that while you kind of work out what you're going to do next. But
yeah, I'm honestly, I've never been as happy and as clear-minded as I am right now. I've never been happier. Yeah, I'm really happy, thank you. Yeah.
I did find it funny when Hearn said that you texted him literally the week after your big retirement. Babic fights. It's like, that's your fight.
The thing is, luckily Ed knows what I'm like. He knows I'm away now. So just text him. I'll just text him, put it straight on him. Say, Ed, get me that bungalow now, and I will. I can't remember the exact words, something like, Ed, buy me that bungalow, and I'll fight Babic next week. And I texted him the next day saying, "Sorry, Ed."
All right. Well, listen, it's good to catch up with you, even though I don't know, you might just want to be left alone. I don't know, but
you know what? I'm not. I'm busy. I'm not really that busy, to be honest. It depends who asks. If you ask, I'm not busy. If someone I'm not really keen on, I'm very busy.
Off your feet, yeah.
Yeah, it depends who rings, I guess.
Oh, fair enough. Love the honesty. All right. Well, listen. Appreciate your time. Quick reflection on what you watched with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr.
Well, you know what? Earlier, I watched Roy Jones highlights and Mike Tyson highlights just to try and remember them from when they was at the best. I didn't really enjoy it last night, to be honest. It wasn't for me.
I don't know what everyone was expecting, to be honest. It was pretty much a body spa, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't great, but you know, it is what it is. It's. I wish I'd have gone to bed at 11:30, but I didn't. So you know, I'm still in bed now.
You know what though? Someone was going, "Oh, why would you pay for that?" Yeah. And I think if I was walking past the gym, yeah, and someone on the door of the gym went, "All right, mate, Roy Jones is in there having a spar with Mike Tyson. Give me 20 quid and I'll let you watch it." I would 100% give you 20 quid to watch it. So if I'm going to do that, then I would watch them two basically having a bit of a, like I said, body spa.
It was the intrigue got me, to be honest. Yeah. The undercard was horrific. Like Jake Paul.
Great knockout.
And, oh dear me.
Snoop Dogg commentating.
That's something else. That's something else I might come back for as well. If I can get a YouTuber in the ring, then I might come back for that as well. Because
why don't you fight Jake Paul then?
Never say never. Never say never.
Okay, Dave, Alan, thank you very much for a little bit of your time this Sunday afternoon. And Man United still losing.
I haven't got a clue. I was on soccer aim yesterday. I've not watched football for about 10 years.
Oh, thank you. Yes, they're losing 2-0.
Amazing news.
Dave Allen, thank you very much. Come to IFL TV and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO. Free, impartial advice on all your debt.